Hey guys, there we go. All right, sorry about that, everyone. We're having a little technical difficulty. Sean, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, guys. As always, if you don't catch it live, you'll catch it once it downloads again, probably by tomorrow morning. I'm Jason. This is Sean back again with us. Thanks for coming back again, Sean. Thank you. This is Mike Drop Sports, and we are ready with our weekly live shows here. And let's just start off here, Sean. About the big Mike Tomlin Steeler way, all that fun craziness that's going on inside of that building. So let's start off with that. What do you think about Ben Roethlisberger, Ryan Clark, all these Steeler greats making up all these comments about the Steeler way being gone? What about that? Let's talk about that right away.
Yeah. I think that was a good point to bring up because none of these guys actually really played with any of those true Steeler grit type players. It was all, the blue collar, hard working men that went out and they tried to get better each and every day that they had at practice, not just suit up in the black and gold, as Minka said, and just expect to have a great career.
I agree. Yeah. And I know too. Hey, like we're just diving into this. I know, but we in Pittsburgh, we keep bringing up all the time the Steel City, the '70s teams, the '70s teams. We talk about that a lot, and I understand this ain't the '70s. We get it, but you still got to have that mentality, that work ethic, and I think that falls short here with this Steelers team. But let's talk about one other thing here too. Jay Glazier, a guy that is super tight with Mike Tomlin, a Fox Sports analyst, but he's super tight with Mike Tomlin. Lots of media personnel say that he rides around in a golf cart at Latrobe with Tomlin, all this fun shit. So if it's coming out of his mouth, it's probably true. Talking about trade for Mike Tomlin to possibly like the Commanders or somebody like that. Do you think that the Commanders or any team for that matter would they give up high first round draft pick for a guy like Mike Tomlin, or do you think that that's just kind of crazy?
I think they would. I think people are going to line up for Mike Tomlin, other teams, because he's a solid coach with a great record, but Pittsburgh is, the standard is the standard, and he hasn't been meeting the standard in Pittsburgh. That doesn't mean that Washington, I'm sure they would take him.
Yeah, and two, all sports guys. Oh, thanks. Denise Marie says, love the Christmas spirit. Yeah, before we go on, we decided that we were going to do hats because Sean sent me a cool picture of his Bah Humbug hat. So we decided to go with it tonight, guys. So, hey, thanks. I appreciate it. Hey, it's Christmas. We got to be in a holiday mood. But as we were talking about, yeah, Tomlin, everybody says, "Oh, he's this great coach and all that," and which he is. He's a good coach. I agree. But are people really willing to give up a first round pick, the number 4 pick overall in the NFL draft for a guy like Mike Tomlin? That's like one of the stretches that maybe some people would think. But you have Holmgren's been traded before, Parcells, Bill Belichick. These guys, first round picks have been given up for them before in the past. Sean Payton in recent history, the 29th overall pick in the first round. So this isn't as far fetched as some people may think. Fourth round or fourth overall might be a little high for a guy like Mike Tomlin. I don't know. But my theory is you have to sometimes reset in any sport, man. It's not about the coach. It's not about him being bad or anything. I just think sometimes a change of scenery, change of people, change of personnel is needed. Do you think that that's the time we are at now in Pittsburgh? Do you think that we have hit that brick in the wall to where it's like, look, man, you got to make a change? I mean, just because.
I feel like that's kind of like hitting the easy button, like just saying, you know what, let's just get rid of what we have and hire somebody. But my big question is, who's better than Tomlin right now that's available? Because, I would hate to see Tomlin go somewhere else and get a team rolling, and then we have somebody come in and then we still keep stumbling. That would be a big embarrassment.
Well, yeah, too. You're going to need play, or any coach that comes into Pittsburgh is going to need time to build his culture, reset, maybe get that so-called Steeler way back on track. They're going to need time. They're going to need time to build back up. You have that offensive or defensive coordinator, if you're going to stick with defensive personnel, that defensive coordinator in Dallas, I don't remember his name, Flores, people like that seem like hard-nosed guys. Maybe they would bring back that hard-nosed type mentality to the Pittsburgh Steelers. But we talked about Mike Tomlin, maybe moving on, all that stuff. But you saw the players today in that locker room. They did all their media availability sessions today. The reporters asking them questions. Najee Harris, Minka Fitzpatrick, Nick Herbig, all those guys. And they seem kind of, I don't know, off a little bit, not as talkative as they have been lately with these losses. But did they have a real coming to Jesus meeting, do you think, on Monday or Tuesday rather? Or do you think that they really haven't said anything? Do you think that these guys really got in that room and hashed it out? Do you think that that was what was needed? I've heard some rumors that they may have had some big blowouts in there and players got loud. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but hey, I've heard that. But do you think something like that's needed in order for this team to get some fire headed into Saturday against the Colts?
Yeah, I do. I think that Minka was the first sign that that's what was going to be going into the next week, his post-game interview after New England. When he said that, I kind of knew they were going to go into the meeting and things were going to be said, and I think people are going to get called out, and it's time to step up and to the plate and start making some plays. Or like I said, other players like a leader like Minka is going to call you out, and I think that's a good thing. You know, it can either light your fire or break you, and either way would be best, because going out there and just winging it isn't doing it. You got to step up and make some plays.
I agree, and I think a blowout might be needed. You need that fire in there. Steelers Freak just said Tomlin was a long shot when he was hired, and that isn't good enough to not change. Minka said what Tomlin should have. Yes, he did in that media. That little interview he did post game. I think he did say what Tomlin needed to say. Tomlin needed to be that voice. And I've had some comments on here. I don't know if you've read through some of them. Some people are saying the locker room is players. The players have to lead. And do you think that this offense, do they have any type of leader anywhere? I don't see one. But do you think, Sean, they have anybody that's stepping up as a leader in that locker room for the offensive side of the football?
I don't know of one either on the offense. You know, I can think of a couple on defense, but that's a whole different part of the ball game. But yeah, when you think about that, there isn't one.
No, and then you have guys like Ben said, hey, on his podcast, he said the veterans come in. Yeah, they're veterans in the league, but they're not Steelers. And I think that matters. I do think that matters. I think when you're building a culture within the NFL, you have to be consistent. And these guys don't know what it is to be that Steeler, to do that Steeler type thing, to have that Steeler way. And it wasn't passed on to them, I guess. I guess it kind of just fell on deaf ears to whoever people like Ben Roethlisberger passed it on to. But people bashed Ben a couple years ago when he was saying some of these exact same things that we're all having these conversations about now. People rode Ben Roethlisberger pretty hard and kind of said that he wasn't a good teammate, kind of bashed him for that. So, now here we are back in the same situation. It's kind of crazy. But you have guys like Mason Cole or Najee. Najee was a team captain last year. Now, all of a sudden, he's not voted a team captain. What does his teammates think of him? Can he step in and be a leader? It don't look like it after you don't vote him as a captain. You have Mitchell Trubisky, who wears the C on his chest, I think, still. I think he's a captain in the building, maybe. I don't know. But is he a real leader? His play doesn't show that. Mason Cole, everybody said he's a veteran, looking to him for leadership. He sucks.
Yeah, he sucks.
He sucks, dude. What do you think about those guys? Do you think those guys that are veterans, do you think they should just step into that leadership role? Or do you guys going to say, dude, you freaking blow, dude. I'm not going to come on here, or I'm not going to follow your lead.
That says it all, bro. This is what I've been feeling the past few weeks, and I'm sick of it. Why don't they reach out and get like Byron Leftwich? Bring Ben into the locker room. They need to get true grit Steelers in the locker room.
Yeah, I agree. You got to have somebody that, if you want to preach this Steeler so-called way, I don't like to say the Steeler way. I think it's a winning way in all of sports. I think that you got to do things a certain way, and being consistent, having discipline is just the combination you need. But yeah, bring some guys in. If you want it to be the Steeler way, bring some guys in, like you said, that have knowledge of this Steeler way, because evidently it's fallen short in a lot of areas, and nobody really knows how to be a Steeler, I guess. And Steelers Freak gave a comment here. I don't like Jerry Jones style, but a little fire from Art would be nice instead of Mr. Rogers. Yeah, dude, I agree, man. He is like Mr. Rogers' neighborhood bullshit. They're friends, dude. Art and Tomlin are buddy. Somebody made a great comment on here. How do you lead somebody when you're good friends with them? You can't be their boss, bro, and be good buddies. You can be acquaintances, but you can't be good buddies and be the boss of somebody. It just doesn't work out that way. It really don't. Maybe in the short term it works, but in the long term, as we're seeing here in Tomlin's 9 millionth season as the Steelers head coach, it hasn't worked. What do you think about that? Do you think a friend like Art is a good enough boss for Mike, or do you think that that change has to happen now because of that? Just that reason.
I think what you said is pretty much spot on, man. You can't be having friends in there. You got to, and that's another thing. Didn't the offensive coordinator, what's the guy that's running the offense? Didn't he say,
Poker.
"Oh, Matt Canada's my good buddy. I'm friends with this whole family. Rah, rah, rah." That alone to me, I was just like, shit, we're going to get the same playbook.
Yeah. Well, of course, yeah. They definitely are having the same playbook, but you can mix formations up, man. I don't care what anybody says. NFL teams put in 20 to 30 new plays, and we've heard it out of guys like Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, guys that are real good quarterbacks that were, we don't have too many of them now, pocket type passers. They inserted those 20 to 30 new formulas every week. And does this team not do that now? I mean, come on, like, did all of a sudden, did it stop? Did they not, change plays? Did they not work on things? That just makes me crazy, man. Um, like we were talking about Mike Tomlin, shit, but I don't think anybody's going to give up a fourth. First round, fourth overall for him. I don't think so. Everybody wants to say how great he is, blah blah blah. But like we're talking about here, he's not motivating that locker room. Period. But here we go. I want to talk about something before we move on from this. We all remember a time in Pittsburgh in 2005, and I'm not saying this team is a Super Bowl team. I'm not. But they found some fire in that locker room. They found a way to get on a roll. They found a way to get going. Do you think history could repeat itself and the Pittsburgh Steelers find themselves in almost an identical situation? The sixth seed, 7-6 kind of deal, almost the same position, pretty eerily similar. Do you think the Steelers, this 2023 team, do you think that they could find that? Do you think that they have the ability to do something like the '05 guys?
Unfortunately, I don't. I don't feel like our offense has enough leaders. And as long as Mitch Trubisky is on the field running the offense, I don't see much changing.
No. And dude, everybody's saying, hey, the Steelers got to go into Colts and it's a backup versus backup. Gardner Minshew is better than Mitchell Trubisky. Let's face it. Mitchell Trubisky got to get some fire, dude. I don't know, something. It's
Yeah.
crazy. It is crazy. But yeah, in my eyes, I think it could happen, but I don't see the fight with this team. You looked at them today in that media sessions. If you guys got a chance to watch that, people like Nausea, like, oh, just lame dick, whatever, just shit. Like, not even, no energy, no like real purpose, trying to tiptoe around the answers. That's what made me think, like, maybe they did have a blowout, dude. Maybe there was some Mike Tomlin coming down on him saying, hey, man, business inside the building, keep it inside the building, because Najee did say that some things you just got to keep internal. It is what it is. Oh, we have oh, there he is. Sean is back. Sean is back. All
Whoops.
right, guys. Yep, we're back. Hey, if you're not subscribed, subscribe. If you want to put some comments in, put some comments in. I'll go through and read them. Steelers Freak, I've seen, has been putting some in there. I'll read yours in a second. But like the video, share the videos, and thanks for coming through for the live videos. We're going to keep doing these live shows. It's pretty fun. It's pretty cool. So we're going to keep doing it. Let's just get on to when we were talking about that '05 team and the Steelers, blah, blah, blah. Maybe they could do that. What do you think, Sean? We're moving into Saturday. This is a must-win football game in my eyes. I don't know what you think. I don't think they could lose this game and really have any type of shot. And they're moving into Saturday. The playoffs are rapidly approaching. There's 4 games left. Does this Steelers team go in Saturday? Do you think that they even got a chance? Or do you think, like, literally this is just falling apart at the seams, man?
I think they have a chance. I really do. And I know I've been really optimistic the past few weeks on here, but I'm trying to humble myself here and not be so biased. But I really do feel like they have a chance. And there's just a few things I feel like they need to critique. And I figure we'll get into that when you get to that subject of keys to victory. And man, I do. On that note of the '05 Steelers, I have a question, and maybe somebody in the comments can answer this too, or you might have an answer. But what player or how many players on the Steelers starting offense are actually team players who want to do good for the guy next to them, who they're not lining up out there just to pad their own stats? Because if you remember when the Steelers lost and they thought Jerome Bettis was going to go home without a championship, Hines Ward was on the podium crying because he failed his partners, not because he didn't get his ring. He had more years in front of him. He was bawling because he wanted to do what's best for his team and win for his brothers. Do we have that camaraderie on our offense these days?
I don't think so. And you can ask anybody in the comments, do you think we have that type of guy on those types of guys on this offense or defense for that matter? I mean, TJ, Minka, Cam, I think that they have that. But man, guys like that really want to play for each other and not play for individual statistics and that want to win. You're right. But let's talk about like you just said, not wanting to play for the guy beside you, only looking for yourself. What makes these wide receivers who seem to be super diva, that seem to be super self-centered, who have had many, many comments in the media acting like jackasses? What do you think? Do you think that those guys can get out of their own way, get involved? And what's it going to take for this team to get them out of that crappy mind state, that selfish mind state? What's it going to take for these receivers, these so-called stud receivers? What is it going to take for them to get on board and get rolling and play for the team instead of themselves? What's it going to take for that to happen, Sean?
I feel like people like Hines Ward, like I say, come in, talk to the guys in the locker room. Troy Polamalu, anybody with that kind of game plan or just that mentality of being a real true team player, have them come in there and talk to these guys. I even seen something that Antonio Brown, of all people, posted, and it actually made a little bit of sense coming from somebody like him. And I think he's speaking facts. And if they can listen to somebody like that who's been kicked out of the NFL because of problems like that, hopefully they open their eyes a little.
Yeah. And Steelers Freak brought up A.K. Davis, put in the comments that Jalen Warren, he seems to be that type of hungry guy, undrafted guy coming in, looking to make a name for himself, making peanuts compared to what these other guys are making. And they're saying maybe he's that type of guy coming to play every Sunday with his hard hat on. What do you think of Jalen Warren? Do you think he's that type of guy? Or do you think he's still too young in the league to be able to step up and be a leader? In my eyes, I think you can just step up whenever it is because leaders are leaders, no matter if they're first year or 20th year, in my eyes. What do you think, Sean?
I think he has been stepping up and proving himself as a leader, and he continues to do it each and every week when he goes out and he starts getting snaps. They struggled last week, though. They didn't run the ball. Either Najee or Warren, they both struggled. And maybe that's because of the offensive line. You know, there could be multiple things going on there. But, yeah, Warren, on his note, that guy's a leader for this team, and we need him out there.
I agree. I think he should start. Steelers Freak says wide receivers are the only players that rely on the quarterback to make that bank. Agents call them and tell them their cash is at risk. Yeah, you're probably right. And they do. They do have to. In my eyes, Sean, I think if you're the Steelers and Mitchell Trubisky or Kenny Pickett, whoever's in there, Mason Rudolph, who's ever under center, all three blow. But whatever. Hopefully one will get better. But anyway, you need to feed these guys the football. throw him the football 20 times in a game. I don't know. Get it out there to him. Really throw these guys the football a bunch of times, man, and maybe that gets them involved. What do you think? Do you think the Steelers should force feed those guys some footballs and really try to get them involved, or just make them eat when they can eat and it fits?
They got to give him the ball more. I mean, last week, Muth only had 18 yards reception, and Pickens, he had 19. That's a big fat fail. They fail. They're not getting the ball to the playmakers.
No doubt. That's horrible. Yeah. And two, the quarterback play has been shitty, guys. I will say that. But let's not all forget Kenny Pickett has played lights out in the fourth quarter and he's won games, and that's a fact. Nobody has to argue that. It's on tape, on paper, in the statistical column. Yes, he's done well in the fourth quarters. But these wide receivers ain't done no favors for themselves either. There's been big time drops by guys. George Pickens, Deontay Johnson, Allen Robinson, many drops. I mean, come on. Steelers Freak puts in the comments, Cole can't play like ass and try to be a leader. Yeah, we just said that. He is he's hurting our offense, man. He really is. What do you think? Nate Herbig. I know the reason that he's not probably playing at center. I know the reason that Mike Tomlin probably isn't going to be willing to put Herbig in is because he can't pull very well. He's not a pulling type center or guard, rather. But what do you think, Sean, causes the least disruption? Putting Nate Herbig in as center and sitting Mason Cole on his candy ass, or moving over a James Daniels or a Sooooooo. Those guys have done it before too. Moving them from guard and then putting Herbig a guard too. Do you think the least amount of disruption is better, or do you think like they should move some pieces around?
They got to move the pieces around and make adjustments on the play calling. Just because Cole can pull better off the line and we bring somebody in that may not pull as well, we'll change the play call up. Run it up their gut, what we're good at. Don't pull anybody and bring in, Jones. Bring in Muth along with every tight end you can utilize. Just bring in your power. Go power formation and just start running the ball. Like I say, control the clock.
Right. Adjust the scheme. Simple. Adjust the damn blocking schemes. If he can't pull well, okay, don't pull him. Like you just said, do play to your strengths.
Yep.
Yeah, offensive head coaches lose their number one quarterback and adjust better. What do you mean? Like, do they adjust better than defensive head coaches? I think so. I think an offensive-minded guy. You see it in Cincinnati with what's his name, the Bengals head coach.
Browning.
The quarterback, Jake Browning, but the head coach, he's an offensive type head coach. That's Zach something. But anyway, he's an offensive minded head coach, and you saw that he is able to adjust a lot better. Jake Browning looks like kind of decent right now. He didn't look exactly good against the Steelers, but you see that. What do you think, Sean? Do you think more of an offensive minded head coach would be something that the Steelers need to look at, or do you think like the defensive minded guy is still the path they need to take? Because I feel like the Steelers have always chosen the last couple anyway. Chuck Noll was a offensive guy, but a more defensive minded guy, and Bill Cowher and Mike Tomlin. Do you think the Steelers need to go opposite way now?
I do. It's showing each and every week. They're getting outperformed by every team out there except for one. And I think, there needs to be changes in that department. We gotta upgrade the offensive, the scheme, the play calling, how they're going into each and every week. Nothing's changing. They keep coming into each and every week doing the same thing. It seems like, I don't know, maybe they're trying and they're just failing, but it's starting to feel a little bit insane.
I agree. And this was the year too. The firing of Matt Canada, guys, actually does set the Steelers team back a little bit, because this was the year the Steelers were supposed to get on track. A young quarterback, young weapons, good draft class. The line was supposed to look better with additions of Sooooooo and guys like that. It was supposed to look better. And now when you fire the offensive coordinator, what does that mean for next year? You're going to have to now bring in a new system, a new offensive head coach, or a new offensive coordinator, possibly a new head coach. things of that nature. So now the Steelers are going to be set back a little bit because now you're going to have another year that you're going to need to build and find your way yet again. It's crazy. I don't know. The Steelers could be in real trouble, man. They could be, or hey, Mike Tomlin could just have a revitalization of his career. It is what it is. But do you think this team should just strip it down, rebuild, or do what they've been doing, just try to keep piecing things together? Is that working, or should they just rebuild the shit now?
Man, if it keeps going this way and the year comes to an end, they got to rebuild. They got to rebuild, especially if we don't win. Half of these. I feel like we're going to go 2-2 in the next 4, but maybe they'll do better than what I'm expecting, and maybe they'll do worse. And if they do worse, clean house, gut it.
I agree. I agree. If they go 0-4 in these last, or 0-6 in the last 6 games, you got to clean the whole shit up, man. Get rid of it all. Steelers freak put in there Washington and Jones on the same side works. Washington on the other side of Jones doesn't work. If I can see it, why can't they? I don't know. I've been screaming those things too, Steeler freak. Sean and I have talked. Do what works for you. And we've said that a million times too. And if we all can see it, Steelers freak, I don't know why they can't, because they're NFL coaches. Shame on Tomlin for not moving on from Canada last year. Sean, was it a year too late? Should they have done it last year?
Yeah, I think so. I was hoping they were going to do it, and when they didn't, I was like, I was cussing. I don't want to say it right now. I don't like it. I wish they would move on. He didn't even have good stats in college. He failed there too. How did he come up into the Steelers organization, man? I don't know.
I agree. I just threw my damn pencil that I was marking things off of we were talking about. That's how pissed off I am. Guys, yes, he should have been gone last year. AK Davis, you said it best. It's a year too damn late. Mike Tomlin supposedly was forced into that decision anyway. He was going to let this shit go for the whole year until I guess Art Rooney did step in. Now, some will argue that it was Mike that fired him. I'm sure it was Mike that actually verbally said the words, but I think Art probably went to Mike or called him up on the phone and said, "Look, dude, fire this turd now. Be done with it." And Mike had to do what he had to do. It is what it is. Steelers freak. The team doesn't have a guy at QB. That makes the other issues worse. Absolutely, dude. When you don't got a quarterback, when you don't got good quarterback play, nothing else works. Is that the reason, Sean, that they should look into trading Mike Tomlin to put together the assets to be able to move up in what will be a quarterback rich draft this season coming, or this April? Do you think the Steelers should do that to put together a package to find a franchise quarterback or give Kenny Pickett that next year?
I personally feel like I've seen enough of KP, man. I'm ready to move on. The guy's had time to develop, and it seems like he's only gotten worse, and he's shown to be injury prone. I don't like that.
I don't like it either. 7 injuries already, a couple neurological shits with the concussion, the rib, the ankle surgery now. Mitchell Trubisky has come in many times in relief. We've seen it. He has, in my opinion, been a little bit injury prone, playing behind a shitty offensive line. We get that. But man, I agree. I think the Steelers probably do need to figure out what kind of assets that they can offload to gain the most draft capital and put a package together to go up and find a guy that they absolutely are in love with and match that guy with an offensive coordinator that plays to that guy's skills. Yeah, Jesse Zirk says they got to try to mix up the O line for sure. I think so. Sean thinks so too. You got to mix things up, make it work. Um, and then Steelers Freak says Canada was/is one of the cheapest OCs in the league. Art got who paid. Yeah, he did. Art got what he paid for. What do you think, Sean? Does Art Rooney have to take some responsibility for what he had in that Canada and not paying people? And does he need to open up his pocketbook a little bit?
Yes, he does, man. He needs to go out there and make it rain because we need a big change in Pittsburgh. That's right.
I
Dude's
agree.
right.
And you brought it up perfectly, Steelers freak. That's anything in life. You get what you pay for, man. If I go to
Yeah.
the store and I buy a remote for my TV that costs $10, I'm getting a $10 damn remote, bro. It's going to be junk. It's going to suck, and you're going to have to deal with it. But the reason that I bought it was because I didn't have no damn money. That's the way it is. And don't tell me Art Rooney ain't got no damn money, bro. What they got? What you got? Oh, Jesus, criminy! It's ridiculous the pay scale that I hear the Steelers assistant coaches are at lowest in the league. Another comment from Steelers Street. The Steelers need to model the 49ers and do what it takes to get the QB to include trading current players as draft capital to take a shot at a potential stud. Levis, second round. He has an Allen gun. If you watch my channel from the beginning, I said Will Levis was going to be a stud. He's playing for a team right now that I think could be a little bit better around him, but I feel like he could do pretty good. He does have a big arm. I wish the Steelers would have drafted him instead of what they got right now. I wish they would have picked Will Levis up. That would have been nice. Too bad Will didn't fall late in the draft, and the Steelers just made a Hail Mary type pick and drafted him like they do sometimes in the 7th round, picking a quarterback. Who'd they take? Chris Oladokin or some craziness. All right, guys. We've been talking about everything Steelers here, talking about the mess they have inside the locker room, it appears, Mike Tomlin's mess, all that shit. Art Rooney not paying offensive coordinators, Matt Canada, all this stuff. We've been really diving into the Steelers way, all this stuff that's going on around this team. But I want to talk about the quarterback specifically, Mitchell Trubisky. Will he bounce back this week? Does getting more snaps mean a better Mitchell Trubisky this week? This is his first full week ahead of a football game. Now he's had some time to get comfortable. Does Mitchell Trubisky, Sean, bounce back?
He better. He better, because you know what? It's getting to the point where I want to see the already failed Rudolph the Red-Nosed save Christmas for Pittsburgh, because this is getting to be ridiculous, bro. He went, oh man, yeah, 190 yards, 1 touchdown, an interception, and he finished with 74.7. I think that's horrible. He was making horrible calls. He was running out of the pocket when there was a perfectly fine pocket around him, and he took off running while the Robinson was wide open on the field. And I'm not even going to go into the two different times that they threw deep on 4th down. I'm still irate, bro.
Me too, man. You can't make that decision. Mike Tomlin, after the game, tries to cover it up and say that was game plan. That was a play selection. You're a damn idiot, dude. And why would you even claim it? Why not just say what really happened? There was a go on there. If it was open, he could have hit it. But there were other options down in the short to intermediate parts of the field. Mitchell Trubisky made that decision. He wanted to relive the Kenny Pickett to Pickens in the Baltimore game and get that bullshit going. That's what happened. He made the wrong choice. He tried to make it hit a home run when he didn't have to. Too much time left on the clock. Too much opportunity still in front of him. Only needed 2 yards. And yeah, you saw the outcome, guys. You really did. And we don't know. I don't think Mitchell Trubisky bounces back, Sean. I really don't either. I think he better, like you said, but I don't think that Mitchell Trubisky got what it takes. He's a failed 2nd round pick. He got a Bears team to the playoffs, but the NFC typically blows. They have a couple good teams. Just getting to the playoffs isn't something amazing that you need to jump for joy about. They got the Eagles now. They got the Niners and the Cowboys. But that's about, I don't know. That's the juggernauts. I don't think making the playoffs in the NFC has been as hard over the last few seasons as it has been in the AFC. I think there's more parity in the AFC. I really do. But Mitchell Trubisky, I think you got to come out slinging. You're going to throw your interceptions. But what do you think? Do you think they should put Rudolph in if the first sign of trouble for Mitchell Trubisky, an interception, anything? Do you think they need to go to Mason Rudolph? Because I think that Mason's going to suck too. But what do you think?
I think it's a catch-22. Choose your poison. Who do you want to go out there and throw your pick? Because they're both going to do that. I think honestly, why not let's just figure it out once and for all. Let's settle it. Let Mitch play the first half, and then bring in Rudolph for the second half, and let's just see who does better. And then the following week, they get the start.
That's old school right there, man. That's like 1950s bullshit there. Yeah. Hey, it might work, man. Hey, maybe. I don't know. This team is in trouble if Mitchell Trubisky's all they got and Mason sucks too. Man, they would be in real trouble. Kenny Pickett's timeline's what, 4 to 6 or 2 to 4 weeks. But I seen 4 to 6 if you have the major surgery, depending on what they did, depending on how bad it was. Was it a grade 3? Was it a grade 2? I think they classified it as a grade 3, so it might be more toward the 6 weeks. I don't know. But will
Wow.
he be back for the playoffs? I don't know. I don't know if we'll see Kenny Pickett again. I heard he's jogging. I don't know if that's true. If anybody else in the chat knows, or if you know, Sean, I heard he's jogging. That may be a good sign. I don't know. Steelers Freak puts too, Sean. The next quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers needs to be selected by the new offensive coordinator. Do you agree?
Yeah, I do. It's going to be his offense. Let him pick who he wants running it out there.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the Steelers have to hire an offensive coordinator before April, get that guy in the building, acclimated to what's going on, and really come up with a game plan before you go in. Are you going to ride with Kenny Pickett? Are you going to select a new guy? What kind of draft capital do you have after you offload some assets? Yeah. Anthony Piccino says, Mitch stinks. You are absolutely right, bro, for sure. Herbert is out. Herbert is out for the season now. Wow, dude. He seemed to have a couple injuries too, but that kid is good. Or man is good. Herbert is a good ass quarterback for the Chargers. If Mason starts again, his GF will come back. Yeah, yeah, no doubt, man. I don't know. I don't know about Mason. I really don't. He hasn't played in years, man. Really, guys. He's the third string quarterback for a damn reason. The guy ain't played in years. I have zero confidence in Mason Rudolph. All right, guys. If we've been going for about 37 minutes, if you're not subscribed, like the video, share the videos, ask any questions in the comments. Sean and I will answer questions, or we'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. But we're going to keep going. These losses, Sean, to the Pats and the Cardinals, were they blamed? Should they be blamed? The defense more than the offense, considering the amount of points that they gave up and the way they let opposing offenses dictate play with their tight ends. Is these two losses more on those defensive players than it is on those offensive players, and people just aren't talking about it?
I think it's a combination of both. They're failing on offense and they're failing on defense. The defense is what did they have? Like maybe 2 sacks last week, which is actually pretty good. But you got to be able to go out there and stop the other team from running the ball all over us. Ezekiel Elliott looked like he was in the national championship game against my Ducks. He was out there and he was killing me. I hated it.
Yeah, he had that big. I think that last run he had was just because the defense was gash. But man, you can't let that tight end room for other teams destroy you each week, man. Bill Belichick saw how the Cardinals had success with their stud young tight end, and he went after it and did the same exact damn thing. And the Steelers appeared to not really adjust to that. Blake Martinez plays better than Walker. Walker got to go, dude. He looked
Yeah.
like a turtle running on the interceptions. He's got to go. He got to go back to the practice squad, Sean, in my opinion. I think Blake Martinez has to get more of the line shares of the reps. And Jack, when's he coming? I haven't heard really anything. I don't know if you guys in the comments have heard anything, Sean, if you've heard anything. But what do you think about the combination of a Landon Roberts, who's playing like a true star player in my eyes, tough, hard-nosed guy, a Landon Roberts, best linebacker on the team, at least right now. I thought they had a good group to start, but hey, he's pretty good. He's a solid bet. Landon Roberts, Blake Martinez, and Miles Jack. Is that a better rotation and send Walker back to the practice squad?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, he was so slow. Walker is Michael, right? Michael Walker? But yeah, I like Miles Jack. You know, he's a great fill-in. Bring him back out there, make the change, and get him off the field. Like last week, just the past 2 weeks, even everything that they're doing is wrong. They got to make change.
I agree. AK Davis puts in here, if Tomlin stays, Sean, what type of changes do we think Art should impose on him going forward? Should there be some restrictions, such as like offensive coordinator? You don't meddle in that. Like it's all the offensive coordinator. Let him do his thing. Do you think there should be some type of restrictions on Tomlin, or if any?
Yeah, changes got to happen with Tomlin too if they keep him, because you know his show is failing and it's been failing for a long time. If you ask me, I'm tired of the mediocrity. You know, bring in an offensive mind, let him run the offense and choose his players, like the guys are saying. And yeah, Tomlin, he's a defensive guy, anyways. Get out of the offensive room. Go get.
Should he stay out of the defensive room too? Should he be more? Should he just say, should Art Rooney say, Mike, you got to manage the team, not individual rooms. You have to be the overseer. Should Mike Tomlin dip his hands out of that too? People say he calls a lot of plays during the game for the defense. Should he dip his hands out of that also, Sean?
Yeah, why not? Just have him run one section. Maybe it's too much for him, everything, because it just seems like he's always dodging questions too. You know, it's always like the same kind of answers, but with just a few different words with Mike Tomlin. That's what the impression I got. And it's just hard for me to watch his interviews. But yeah, you know, let the defensive coordinator run that side. Let the offensive coordinator run that side. And Mike, you stay right in the middle and just keep the team on track.
I agree, man. I think he got to be the overseer. Let the coordinators work. I think you got to let Terrell Austin do his job. Let these guys right now, Faulkner and Sully, do their jobs. Let them change some things. I do think Mike Tomlin has held back this offense a little bit in my eyes. I think he went in there and said, "Look, don't turn the damn ball over, and we're going to play Steeler football defense for 60 minutes." What a dumbass, dude. I'm so sorry. His word salad Tuesday press conferences, or Monday press conferences, rather, they irk me to the core of my soul. The reporters in there, they ask some good questions. Some of them try to tiptoe around things because they know, hey, they got to see these guys every day. So they try to tiptoe around some things. Some of the reporters really ask some good questions. But man, dude, he dodges every damn thing and act like he don't know what's going on in the media or something. Like he don't watch damn Channel 11 News in Pittsburgh or something. Like, come on, bro. You hear it every damn day.
Yeah.
Tomlin goes strategic and the ACs go tactical. Good comment. Yeah, I like that, Steelers Freak. I also had a comment in here from Steelers Freak saying that snap counts are too high for TJ and Alex. Is that starting to contribute to their injuries now? Alex and TJ both in concussion protocol. I think they will play Sunday, or Saturday rather. We'll see how that goes tomorrow, Friday. But do you think that they are getting too many snaps? Do you think, because we're going to talk about Nick Herbig, and do you think the Steelers need to get Herbig and Golden involved more and let Alex and TJ rest a little bit here?
Yeah, I think so, especially if it's one of those games where the defense is struggling and the opposing team's out there doing 80-yard drives out there for 8 or 9 minutes, just eating up the clock. Yeah, you got to get them off the field, let them catch their breath, hydrate. You got great players like Herbig on the team for a reason. Let them go out there, and like we said, was it a week or two ago? You got to keep the team fresh. Got to keep them coming in and out.
I agree, man. And let's talk about Nick Herbig. His media session today, he says, I was built to be a damn Steeler. That's the type of dude I want to play beside. Even Minka Fitzpatrick said that. He's the type of player I like to play with. Why? Because he goes out there, he has some damn heart, plays with some effort, and really just comes to play every day and doesn't take a snap off. And I think if you're the Steelers and you got a guy like Nick Herbig, you find ways to get him involved if he ain't involved, in my opinion. What do you think about Nick Herbig? Should he start really seeing some snaps? And should the Steelers start just trying to figure out ways to get him on the football field, even if it isn't to spell Alex or TJ?
Yeah, man, get him in there. Pull Highsmith out for a play or two. Let Herbig do his damage because he's shown time and time again he only needs a few snaps to make an impact on the game. And then, a couple drives later or the next drive, let TJ come out for a play or two. Get Herbig back out there. The guy's a playmaker, and he loves the Steelers organization, and he's got that fire in him that I keep talking about. You got to have that fire inside.
I agree, dude. Nick Herbig has to have more snaps. Point blank, period. I think so. I think he can do some good things. I'm not saying TJ and Alex aren't the studs and shouldn't be the premier guys on the defensive uh, outside rushing attack. I think they should be, and rightfully so. They're stars. But Nick Herbig got to be involved, man. Compare TJ snap counts to others in the NFL. Yes, it is crazy. Yes, he definitely plays a little bit too much, but you got him have him on the field as much as possible in my eyes too. But you got to learn how to manage him. And like Sean said, fresh. Got to keep guys fresh, man. That is the name of the game. Utilize all your talents, man. That is a big thing about utilizing Nick Herbig, Marcus Golden, who was sat down last week, deactivated, But you're going to have guys coming back too, like Keanu Neal. Why not in dime packages? Bring him in, play that inside linebacker role. Match him up with another guy that has a little bit of speed. I know it's hard to teach a new position, but when you're using special packages, you're just teaching assignments for that kind of play, for that kind of a scheme. Set up a Herbig and Neal down there. Use some speed. Use some different things. Use some different players. But Keanu Neal coming back, being able to play in the dime and play that inside linebacker role kind of deal due to his size. Do you think that's going to make a significant impact and the Steelers are going to stop getting torched by tight ends and things of that nature just with the addition of Keanu Neal coming back?
I think it's a little bit extra, like good help, yeah, but I don't know about making a significant difference. I would like to think so, but he's made some pretty good plays this year before his injury, and yeah, I think it's a good thing that he's coming back. It's going to help a little bit.
I do. Yeah, I do, man. I really do think that that's going to matter. I'm just going over some things here, seeing what we haven't talked about, but we've talked about a lot of things. TJ and Alex, I think they'll play. I think so. I don't think it's going to be any much of, or I don't think it's going to, I don't think they're going to sit out. I think they're going to get out of the concussion protocol. I really do. So, Sean, so much adversity with this team. They pull through, or the adversity? Is it just too much? Is there too much going on inside this building for this team to even think about doing well? Or do you think we're just overblowing some of this stuff as fans? Because we're spoiled type fans, we're used to winners. Do you think some of this stuff's overblown, or do you think that there is a ton of weight on these guys? Do you think that they're going to be able to get out from underneath all this stuff?
I think that all they got to do is have a short memory. You gotta let go of last week. You can't be sitting here thinking about everything that's gone wrong. They got to focus on moving forward and what they got to do to improve. They got to just look at the gaps of where they failed and fill them. Just go with a new game plan, push forward, forget about the past. And if you can forget about the past, you can get your morale back up. That's the thing about athletes, man. You can't be out there dwelling on shit. You got to just man up, get back in the huddle, and go back out there with the next play and do good.
Because what can you do, Sean, about these last two losses? Is there anything you can do? Absolutely not, dude. You got to forget it. You're right. Flush your damn head. It's the NFL. Everybody loses. Everybody has tough weeks. Very rare when teams rip off a bunch of wins, man. It is very rare. That's why it's so special. But you see the Chiefs lose. The Dolphins get beat by the Titans. The Steelers beat the Titans. I mean, come on. You see some of these teams lose that are supposed to be special. So maybe we are a little bit overreacting to some of this. This team, we're going to close this up, guys. Again, if you need anything else, put it in the comments, all that kind of stuff. Like, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff. Sean and I are going to start wrapping some things up here a little bit. This football team is 7-6. They have a chance. They have all the opportunity ahead of them. we are probably overreacting a little bit. This team, if they win against the Colts, they're going to be able to control their own destiny. But if they lose against this Colts team, is that lights out, Sean? Is that done?
Yeah, I think so. I think it'll be lights out, man. They'd be putting the ball in the other team's court, and then they're going to need help from everybody, and nobody's out to help the Steelers except for the Steelers.
That's it. Yeah, nobody's going to help them out. You ain't getting no charity there, man. You lose to the Colts, you're going to find yourself holding or not holding those tiebreakers anymore. And right now they do. That's how they're still in the 6th seed of the NFL playoffs. All right, Sean, what do you think the Steelers need to do moving into Saturday? What do they need to do in this game to be successful Saturday?
The defense needs to shut down Michael Pittman Jr., bro, because that's been Gardner Minshew's number one target. Last week, he was targeted 11 times. He had 8 receptions for 95 yards. And he's had 80-plus yards in the last 4 games in a row for Indianapolis. So if they can take him out of that game, put Joey Porter Jr. on him and lock him down, and then work on shutting down that run with our inside linebackers, because I think they have a second-string running back this week as well. I could be wrong, but I think that he
Zach
is.
Moss. Zach Moss, veteran guy. He's done well. Yeah, Jonathan Taylor will be out. But go ahead, keep going.
Well, yeah, he had 13 attempts, and he only had 28 yards, 2.2 yards per carry. So if they can keep him down to numbers like that and take away Michael Pittman Jr., I think that would be huge. And then, of course, the Steelers, they got to run the ball better. They averaged 2.5 yards per carry last week against a good defense. But still, if you could run the ball a lot better, control the clock more, and put up more than 21 points, you will win. Because here's an interesting fact about both teams. They both are 6 of 7 of holding the opposing teams within under 21 points. So if you can score basically more than 21 points, whoever scores more than 21 points in this game is going to win. That's what's going to happen right there. So I thought that was really interesting, though. They're both the same thing, 6 for 7 wins held by opposing teams under 21 points. So that's their keys.
I agree. You bring up a lot of good points there. The only thing I'm going to add is I pretty much agree with Sean there on what they need to do. Pittman's got to be controlled. Joey Porter Jr. has to have a big game against him. Zach Moss has to be controlled. We saw him in Buffalo. So Landon Roberts has played against Zach Moss when he was with the Patriots, so he's familiar with that guy. So the Steelers really got to control that run game. But I watched some tape on the Colts, and I really think that they attack the middle of the field a lot, and I think that that's going to hurt the Steelers a great deal unless they shore that up this week. Bringing Minka down for coverage, bringing in guys. Like a Martinez, not letting Walker out there to get torched. You got to make some adjustments. You got to have your scheme adjusted a little bit because they are going to attack that middle of the field. And Gardner Minshew can throw the ball from many different arm angles. They have to be able to apply pressure to Gardner Minshew. And last week, the Bengals applied great deals of pressure to Gardner Minshew, and it paid off for them as they won the game. I mean, it paid off. But the Colts were still able to put up points. I mean, they were scoring. And I agree with Sean. The first team to get to 21 is going to win. So it is what it is, guys. It is what it is. Offensively, I think the Steelers need to attack the edges a lot. I think they need to work that tight end room. And they have to utilize it a lot. They have to go to these wide receivers, get them more involved in the run game or in the pass game. You have to do it. But that run game has to be your most pivotal thing that you focus on all week. You have to be able to run the ball effectively to set up that play action, to set up those wide receivers. And that offensive line has to be better. Mason Cole has to be better. And if you're Mike Tomlin, he starts snapping the ball on the ground. You got to pull him and get Herbig in or somebody in, make an adjustment, because that kills the momentum of a football play. You can't have that snap to where the quarterback even has to go down to his knees to get it, or even up here to get it. That kills the play. It really makes it hard for that quarterback to read the field and find receivers. And that's a problem for the Steelers. We all say the quarterbacks can't read the defenses. They can't find that open guy. That's a big problem. Mason Cole's contributing to that problem. And I'm not saying he's all of it, but he's a large portion of it. I'll tell you that, guys, for sure. And like I said, get those tight ends involved. All right, Sean, we might not be back on. Hopefully, we'll have another live before Saturday. But just in case we aren't, what is your score prediction for this week's matchup against the Colts as the Steelers move into this must-win game? Well, on the spot, Sean. You're on the spot.
I feel like it's going to be the Colts are going to win this game. They're going to win 24-21, or it's going to be somewhere in that range. Like I say, I just feel like they're going to edge us. Like you say, they're going to beat us in the middle of the field. And if Mitch Trubisky doesn't get our Pickens more receptions and yardage and Muth, we are screwed.
All right, Sean says it's going to be a tight one in the 20s, probably 24-21 with a Colts victory. And now I'm going to break some hearts again. I think the Steelers lose this football game also, but I think they lose it by a little bit more. I think they lose this game by double digits because I think they can't handle the middle of the field. I hope I'm wrong, but I think the Steelers lose this football game 24 to probably 14. That's probably my guess with how this should play out in my head. But I'm pretty much about right where Sean is, and I think the Colts are going to win this football game, guys. We'll see what happens. Hopefully our Steelers win. Hopefully they come through. Hopefully they find that 2005 type magic, man, in that locker room this week. And hopefully they prove us wrong because we've been picking them, and they've been screwing us each and every week. We're tired of it, guys. We're tired of it. All right, big news for the channel. Like we said, we're going to start having some like T-shirts and things like that because we're going to be able to open a store. We've hit those milestones. We're going to keep having these shows with Sean. We thank Sean for coming on all the time. It's really awesome. We truly appreciate having you here. So we're going to wrap this up, guys. Sean, anything else you need to say before we get out of here?
Go Steelers, man. I hope that we're wrong, too. I hope that they can shut our mouths. That's why I'm not going to pick wrong again. But, yeah, thanks for having me on the show, man. It's a lot of fun. And what's up, Steeler Nation? Love you guys.
All right, guys. Thanks, Sean. Yes, no doubt. I hope we're wrong. Steelers freak. Thank you for putting all those comments in there, man. I appreciate it. They were very good. And you guys know what you're talking about. You guys that are Steelers fans, one of the best fan bases around. So until next time, that's Sean. I'm Jason. This is Mike Drub Sports. And we'll talk to you guys next time. Peace. See ya. See you, Sean. Have a good one, man.
Later, guys. Later, Jason.
Later, dude.